Life doesn't come with a roadmap, and yet sometimes we find ourselves at unexpected crossroads. How do we decide which way to go? Do we go left, right? Do we backtrack? Have you ever felt lost at a crossroad, unsure of which path to take? It's these transitions, these pivotal moments that often define our journey. Welcome back to the Greatness Blueprint. I'm Luke Austin, and today we're charting the course through life's most transformative transitions. We'll explore the emotions, the challenges, and the growth that comes from embracing change. Navigating transitions is about understanding the journey, embracing the lessons, and finding the strength to move forward, even when the path isn't clear. It's about the courage to step into the unknown and the resilience to thrive there. So, are you ready to master the art of transition? Dive in with me into episode 8 of the Greatness Blueprint. Let's go. Every heartbeat, every sunrise, every season, they all signal change. Just as nature evolves, so do we. From our first steps as toddlers to our steps into adulthood, life is a dance in these transitions. Think about your first day at school, the nervous excitement of your first job interview, or maybe the bittersweet moment when you left your family home for the last time. These aren't just events, they are milestones that shape our journey, reminding us that change is the only true constant. Change is inevitable. How will we respond? And while change is inevitable, if we can identify the types of transitions, we are better able to navigate them. So, first is personal transformations. Remember the feeling when you held your child for the first time as a parent? Or maybe it was the emptiness you felt after your first heartbreak. These deeply personal shifts, whether joyous or painful, mold our character and perspective. Second is career shifts. I've met people who've climbed the corporate ladder their whole lives, only to realize they're on the wrong wall. Others have taken a different path, taken leaps of faith into new industries, discovering passions they never knew they had. These career transitions aren't just about titles or paychecks, but they redefine our daily lives and purpose. Third is societal evolutions. Think about the first time you used a smartphone or when you adjusted to life during the pandemic. These societal changes, driven by technology, culture, or global events, challenge us to adapt and rethink our place in the world. I remember the first day I got my first cell phone in middle school, right? I think it was a Samsung Razor with the camera phone. No more having to call my middle school girlfriend's home phone and talk to her dad anymore. Game changer. Now, even if we know these types of change we are facing, we're often resistant to that change. So, what are the different types of resistance that we feel in these moments? One is the fear of the unknown. How many times have you played out the worst case scenario in your head? You often fear the unknown, crafting these stories, these fake stories of failure that haven't even happened yet. So, what if we flip that script? What if we said the unknown holds opportunities and not just threats? When I first started thinking about starting this podcast, I also had the fear of the unknown, right? People aren't going to listen to me. My content isn't going to be powerful enough. Those were my initial thoughts. And as I got closer, I realized, what if I'm missing out on a huge opportunity? And honestly, I've had more fun making this podcast over the last few weeks, and I would have never known that had I not taken the leap. Two is comfort in familiarity. It's like that old pair of shoes that you keep around forever, super worn out, oh so comfortable, perfect for mowing the lawn, whatever the case is. We all get caught in these routines, these ruts, even if they're not serving us. But when was the last time you took a moment and paused and asked yourself, is this routine that I'm doing every single day leading me to where I want to go? I recently had a conversation with one of my longtime clients, and he was retiring. And he had mentioned that he'd been living in New York City for 25 years, commuting 3 hours a day, man, 15 hours a week, and never stopped to question himself. And he posed to me, he said, I don't know if it was worth it. Why was I putting myself through that? I was missing out on family time. My kids are all grown up now and out of the house. And it's a stark reminder that time waits for no one. Are you making the most of your time? Three is loss of control. Change can feel like you're being swept away in the current, struggling to keep your head above water. But sometimes it's letting go that allows us to make this pivotal change in our lives. Finally, is emotional attachment. Our memories often wear rose tinted glasses, right? Painting a past that is brighter or more perfect than it really was. And while it's natural to cherish these memories, it's also crucial to remember that the present and future can be just as, if not even more beautiful than the past. So don't idealize the past and worry about the future. Change can be daunting, but it's also an invitation to grow, to learn, and to discover new horizons. I challenge each of you listening right now, think of one transition you're currently facing or anticipate having to face soon. Instead of shying away from it or dreading it, how can you embrace it? How can you see it as an opportunity rather than an obstacle? As we journey through this episode, we'll equip ourselves with tools and insights to not just cope with these transitions, but to thrive in them. Remember, every transition holds an invitation. It's up to us to accept it and make the most of the journey ahead. Life's transitions are knocking at your door. Will you answer? Next, I want to talk about a personal story of transition in my life and how I've been able to navigate through that, through the highs and lows. Back in April 2023, earlier this year, I ended up having a full Achilles rupture during a City League softball game. I had hit a ball to the fence and I started running to first base. I saw how far the ball had gone and I thought, you know what, I'm going to kick it into second gear. I'm going to score an in the park home run. I'd already done that earlier in the game, so I thought, why not again? As I stepped on first base and went to second base, I felt like I got kicked in the back of the leg. And I thought, what the heck? First baseman's mad that I'm hitting it to the fence. She's kicking me in the back of the leg. And I fell to the ground, tumbled down, and quickly realized nobody had kicked me, but I had a serious injury, right? A full rupture of my Achilles tendon. Nothing was left connected. I quickly hopped up on one foot, hopped to the bench in the dugout. Wasn't really sure what to do. I think I was still in shock. Was able to hop back to my car with the help of a friend and went to the ER and confirmed, sure enough, it was a full Achilles rupture. And 7 days later, I had surgery. Right? I had gone from being so active, working out a ton, hanging out with friends, doing things with my daughter, carrying her around, walking my dogs, to not being able to do anything, right? Crutching around the house, taking showers with trash bag and saran wrap around my foot. Just a complete and instant transition. And I could have taken it from the frame of, man, why me? Why me? Right? But instead, it really allowed me to reset my mindset. I was going so fast, I was forgetting some of the fundamentals that were important to me. And it allowed me to focus on cool and new creative things. So instead of, working out a ton or playing on 3 softball teams like I was at the time, I was able to sit down, focus on building the podcast, spend some quality time with my daughter and my family, think about what I wanted to do with my future. And while I would never wish an Achilles rupture on anyone else, right? Something that drastic, an injury that takes a full year to recover from, was necessary for me to get to where I want to go in the future. So I'll always be and forever grateful to my full Achilles rupture. And I know if anyone can come back, I certainly know I can. Now, after sharing my personal journey with you, I've realized that while transitions are challenging, they're also golden opportunities for growth. So, how do we navigate these waters more smoothly? And how can we harness these winds of change? Let's dive into 4 key strategies to help you embrace change in your life. These 4 strategies are: 1, understanding and acceptance; 2, staying grounded; 3, seeking support; and then 4, reframing your perspective. So, first, understanding and acceptance. The first strategy here for me has been journaling. Um, and I'm not someone who likes to get out pen and paper, but if you like that, good for you. But it's like having a conversation with yourself, right? Take a moment right now, grab a piece of paper or a notes app in your phone like I do, and jot down a recent change you experienced. How did that change make you feel? Reflect on it, write it down. And don't let it just go by without acknowledging maybe some of the struggles that you experienced or some of the joy that you also experienced there. The second strategy is mindfulness exercises. Remember that time when maybe you were feeling a little bit overwhelmed? Maybe you took a deep breath and it calmed you down. I recall a time when I was also feeling overwhelmed with a project deadline at work. And just 5 minutes of some focused breathing made a world of difference. And if you haven't tried it before, I highly recommend the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. It's a great way to bring yourself back to the present moment. So, for the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise, the 5 is taking a moment to acknowledge 5 things that you can see around you, right? Next, the 4 is acknowledging 4 things that you can touch around you. The 3 is acknowledging 3 things you can hear. And 2 is acknowledging things you can smell. And then the 1 is acknowledging 1 thing you can taste around you, right? Distracting and getting all of your senses involved allows you to ground yourself, reset yourself, and move forward in your moment. The next strategy to embrace change is staying grounded. And for me, a key part of that is having daily rituals. There's comfort in that routine, right? And for me, what I do is I get up every morning, I drink my element, which is an electrolyte drink. For you, it could be the first cup of coffee, walking the dog, maybe it's just a long hot shower in the morning. But what's that one thing in your day that remains constant? Another great way to embrace change is creating a transition zone, right? This is a place where you can just be yourself, even just for a few minutes. Get out on your own. Think of it as a personal sanctuary. Maybe it's a quiet corner of your local library. Maybe it's one of your favorite park benches at a local park, somewhere where you can just be with your thoughts for a few moments. The next category for embracing change is seeking support. We all can't do it on our own, right? And a great way to navigate some of these changes or transitions is to talk to people who've done it before. And often this can be in the form of a friend or family. I remember talking to a friend who'd gone through a very similar career transition as mine, and it was enlightening to hear their input. So think of a friend or a colleague who has experienced a change recently. Maybe it's time for you to catch up with them and talk through what you're going through. Next is local or online communities. Are you trying to start a podcast, right? Starting a new business? There are so many different forums online where real people give their insights and thoughts and want to help others who are going through similar instances. For example, if you're a real estate investor, you have likely heard of Bigger Pockets podcast or forums. And this is where anyone can go, get ideas, see other topics, and talk with people who have done it, or maybe that want to do it just like you. So don't let not knowing someone in that space hold you back from finding someone else to talk to and share ideas with. The final category for embracing change is reframing your perspective. And one strategy here is gratitude reflection, right? Amidst all this change, it's easy to lose sight of some of the little things that are going well in your life or things that you love, right? I have a keychain that I keep on my set of keys that my daughter made for me for Father's Day. And it's just a little picture of her that says dad on it. And it just reminds me how lucky I am to be her dad. So, what's one thing that brought you a smile to your face today? Maybe it was a kind gesture, a personal achievement. Maybe it was just a beautiful sunset. Maybe it was a keychain of your child, right? Any of those small moments, take time to reflect on those and give gratitude. Another way to reframe your perspective is to challenge negative thoughts with evidence. And as Alex Hormozy once said, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So, how do you remind yourself of your own self worth? Find evidence of you doing things that are hard and know that you can get through new things that are also hard in your life. Final strategy is to set small goals. When I read the book, The 12-Week Year, it changed my perspective. Year-long goals often are too far out to feel true progress. So shortening your goals allows you to make faster progress, feel more in tune with your goals as a result. I challenge you to set a small goal for the next week, something achievable. And when you hit it, celebrate it. Remember, these are just tools. They might not all resonate with you, and that's okay. The key is to find what works for you and to remember that every transition, no matter how challenging, is a step forward. Navigating life's transitions isn't just about our personal experiences. Sometimes the wisdom of those who've dedicated their lives to understanding human behavior can offer us a guiding light. And today I want to spotlight two such experts who have insights that have resonated with me, but also echo the themes we've been discussing so far. First is Dr. Brene Brown. Dr. Brown's research on vulnerability and courage has been a beacon for many who are navigating change. She once said, "Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome." This ties back to the earlier discussion on the fear of the unknown and the courage it takes to step into these uncharted territories. Like I said earlier, I remember feeling this vulnerability when I first thought of starting this podcast. But as Dr. Brown suggests, it was in embracing this vulnerability that I found the courage to move forward. Speaking of vulnerability, I'm reminded of my daughter's soccer practice. Recently, she was playing this game where kids tried to pull each other's animal tails out of their back of their pants. She made it to the final two, and even though her tail got pulled and she didn't end up winning, she came to me with pride. She said, "I really did great, Dad. I can't wait to try next time. I'll win next time." And she was ready to embrace that challenge. Can you recall a moment like this when embracing your vulnerability led to an unexpected growth opportunity for you? The next expert today is Dr. Carol Dweck. And Dr. Dweck's work on mindsets has shaped how many of us approach challenges and growth. In her exploration of growth mindset, she notes, in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. This sentiment mirrors our earlier discussion on reframing perspective and viewing transitions as opportunities rather than obstacles. When I read about the growth mindset, it reminded me of a time I challenged my own negative thoughts with evidence of past successes. Public speaking is one thing that I've always had a fear of. I create this vision in my head of me failing in front of the audience. Maybe I'm stumbling on my words. Maybe I trip and fall. And as I've continued to be in more and more of these opportunities and do more public speaking, the evidence of success has started to build. And this now allows me to be confident and negate my negative self talk with the evidence of that past success. These mindset shifts also remind me of a new head coach down at Idaho State University on the football team, Cody Hawkins. He took on a challenging role in a program, that's seen its share of tough days. And instead of seeing it as a potential series of losses or a place where he was not going to have success, he saw the opportunity. He could have easily said, "I don't want to go there. It's going to be hard." Instead, he said, "I believe in myself. I know what fundamentals need to be put in place, and I'm going to trust the process." And for him, it was all about that perspective. So, how might adopting a growth mindset change your approach to the next big transition in your life? As we wrap up our dive into expert insights, I challenge you to take one piece of wisdom from today and apply it this week. Whether it's embracing vulnerability or shifting your mindset, small steps can lead to profound growth. Remember, we're all in this journey of life together, and sometimes the wisdom of a few can light the way for many. Navigating life's transitions isn't just a personal journey. Sometimes the stories of others can serve as powerful beacons of hope and inspiration. So I want to dive into the tales of two iconic figures who faced significant challenges, took big risks, and emerged triumphant. First is Steve Jobs. And most of us know Steve Jobs as the co founder of Apple, but his journey with the company had its share of twists and turns. And in 1985, after a power struggle with some of the board of directors and some disagreement, Jobs was fired from Apple. And instead of, surrendering in defeat, Jobs saw this as an opportunity. So he founded a new company, a computer platform development company. And that company actually ended up being the foundation of a lot of future Apple products. And in 1997, Apple acquired that company that Steve had built, bringing him back into the fold. And with his return, Apple saw a huge resurgence, right? Leading to the creation of the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, all the products we use today. And this is just a testament to the resilience, the vision, and the belief that setbacks can be setups for comebacks. Next is Howard Schultz, the man behind the modern day Starbucks. And Howard Schultz's journey began in the housing projects in Brooklyn, New York. Not a great upbringing. From these humble beginnings, Schultz was able to change the way the world consumes coffee. So he was working at Starbucks at the time, and he took a trip to Italy and came back with the idea inspired by some of those espresso bars in Italy. And the idea was to add a cafe to a lot of the Starbucks retail areas. Starbucks rejected that. They didn't like the idea. And so he took a leap of faith and started his own company, his own coffeehouse chain. Several years later, Starbucks started to have a little bit of a downturn, and Schultz ended up buying Starbucks in 1987 and transformed it with his original idea into the global phenomenon we know as Starbucks today. And this story really underscores the importance of having that vision, being okay taking a risk, going out on your own, and persevering through that transition in life. So, both of these individuals, in their own unique ways, navigated change and took risks. And it reminds us that vision, determination, and a bit of courage can turn challenges into unparalleled opportunities. So, as we reflect on their journeys, let's ask ourselves, what risks are we willing to take to realize our vision? All right, listeners, now for a challenge. I want you to identify one area of your life where you are resisting change. What's holding you back? This week, I challenge you to take one small step towards embracing that change. Maybe it's starting a journal, having a conversation with a mentor, or simply changing a daily routine. Whatever it is, commit to it. Share your commitment and progress with our community using the hashtag GreatnessBlueprint or email me directly at luke@greatnessblueprint.com. Let's hold each other accountable and celebrate our growth together. Transitions, changes, shifts, they're the chapters of our life stories. And just as I've shared mine with you today, I'm eager to hear yours. Let's continue this conversation beyond just this episode. Let's build a community that supports, learns, and grows together. Remember, every story holds a lesson, and every transition is a testament to our resilience and growth. I can't wait to hear yours and see how you rise to this week's challenge. As we draw this episode to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on our journey today. We dived into the nature of transitions, understanding that change is the only true constant in our lives. We explored the emotions that come with it, from the fear of the unknown to the comfort of familiarity. Through personal stories and expert insights, we've seen that embracing change, while it can be challenging, can lead to profound growth and new opportunities. We've also equipped ourselves with strategies to navigate these transitions, from understanding and acceptance to reframing our perspectives. And through learning from Steve Jobs and Howard Schultz, we've been reminded that with a vision, determination, and a bit of courage, we can turn challenges into unparalleled opportunities. Life, in all of its unpredictability, is a series of these transitions. Each change, each shift, while it can be daunting, is a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. It's easy to view these transitions as hurdles, but what if we see them as bridges? Bridges to growth, new experiences, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. To quote the renowned author Robin Sharma, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. So embrace the mess, cherish the journey, and anticipate the beauty that awaits. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of life's transitions. Here's to embracing change, seizing opportunities, and creating a story of greatness. Until next time, keep charting your course, and as always, stay on your path, stay inspired, and above all, stay great. We'll see you soon.